What's up, guys? nethervvoid here, doing some more strategy series for you. World of Tanks, tank guides, whichever way you like to look at it. I just kind of recently changed the name of this series, but wanted to make it a little more obvious what these things were. So today I'm doing what should be obvious to most of you guys, the SU-100Y, fairly new gold tank from I think 8.4? I can't even remember. They're patching this game so fast now, it's hard to remember. This is a tier 6 Russian gold tank TD. I just bought it recently when it was on sale. I can't even remember how much it cost back then. Let me go check it out real quick. Let's see, SU-100Y. This should be a fairly quick search real quick here for you. It should tell me immediately. $32.50, so it's a pretty cheap tank. You know, usually the tier 7s and 8s, you know, being more like 7 to 10,000. $32.50 is not too bad. Now, right away, this tank is not really a moneymaker, okay? There are several reasons that is, but it's mainly for fun. This is for fun, trolling tank. It really does well with platoons of SU-100Ys, where you can focus fire and primary people down. And I'm going to be explaining why that is in a second here. Also, the other reason why this is really not a moneymaker is every shot's 1,000 credits. Let's just verify that's the case. And there you go, 1,100 credits per shot. So this is not one of those tanks that you say, and I need to grind on some credits. Let me get a Russian TD so I can do, you know, because I like Russian TDs. This way I can train up a crew. You don't want to use this tank to make money. This is the tank you want to use to make money if you're going to make money. The SU-12244. I'll be doing a strategy on this probably in the next couple of weeks. But as you can see, credit cost, well, it's still 1,000, but you get involved in a lot higher tier games. It has a lot faster reload, in almost the same damage. I think this is a better all-around tank for making money if you're trying to make money. If you're trying to get a Russian TD that's a credit grinder. Again, on this tank is just a big troll, but it's a lot of fun. At the same time, it has a lot of weaknesses. It's very difficult to play. If you do play it for fun and you don't read up about it at all, you don't figure it out, you're just going to die quick. Now, if you've got 3 of these in a platoon, you're going to roll people, especially if you're in tier 6 battles, because nobody has any hit points, and so you're going to be taking half of people's life away, or, you know, 2/3 or even 3/4 in some cases. So the way I play this tank, it's got actually a pretty fast speed for how big it is. 35 usually get up to the high 20s. So it's got some decent mobility. The traverse is actually not that bad at 30. It doesn't feel bad anyway. Let's look at the V39 here. 24, not as good. Let's look at the 44. I think this actually has a lot better. Yeah, 42. That's much better. Yog P 29. So 30's not bad. Okay, it turns pretty quick. It's got decent mobility. The big problem with this thing comes because it's a huge box. It's got no camo really. And it's got really, really bad armor, 60 all the way around. So the way you're going to play this tank is you're going to have to be super aware of your surroundings. Constantly watch that minimap. Do not get flanked. Do not put yourself in harm's way to be shot at in this tank. With your armor, you're not going to last very long. Another thing I've noticed is it feels like the reverse gear on this thing is tiny. So what I usually do, I pop out, line up a shot, get the shot off on the guy. Every shot counts because the reload is so long. Get a shot off on the guy and back up behind a building, wait for my reload. And I'm always fighting with friendlies ahead of me to spot. So friendlies are ahead of me in spotting, and hopefully some big tanks that can actually soak up a little bit of the shots from the enemy. Because you basically don't ever want to get hit. You've only got 700 hit points, which is not enough really to be taking shots. Now you have more than other tier 6 TDs. That's the only one I have available right now, but you cannot take hits. That 700 points is going to go away pretty quick. So that's generally what I do. Another thing I can do, another thing I like to do is play surprise peek-a-boom in your face. If you know the guy is going to be a one-shot kill. Now this thing does have an insane amount of damage. 440 is the average, so it's pretty easy to one-shot guys that are get one shot into a guy and get the kill that are fairly low in health. All you have to do really at that point is work on your timing and don't take, again, because the reload's so long, you get one shot. You only got one shot! Don't blow it! Or some, you know, you probably heard that rap or whatever. Anyway, Not that I like that guy, but it definitely applies to this tank. Every shot has to count because the reload is so long, and when you shoot, you expose yourself to a great extent. So you got to get those shots on target. They have to pen. Do aim for weak spots, even though you have insane pen. That's pretty much how you play this tank. You'll see it in a couple games I show you. Let's move on to stats here. 700 hit points, like I said. Nothing. It's not a big deal. It's average. It's not a lot. You're going to get into games with tier 8s. This does not have special matchmaking. So 700 hit points is not a lot. 64 tons. You can ram with it, I guess. I don't. You're probably not going to be doing it much because you're not going to be in people's face very often. But if someone's, you know, coming up through a lane and they're going to flank you or whatever, and you're going to do the pop out to try to get one shot and kill them, and it doesn't kill him, you could probably ram him for about 100 damage and maybe get the kill on him if you couldn't quite get it before. 890 engine horsepower, pushing 64 tons. That's about 15 to 1. It's about like 14 or so. That's why this thing has actually decent mobility for how large it is. 35 speed limit, you will get that, almost get that on flat ground. 30 traverse, pretty nice. Whole armor, again, it's crap. Which is, again, while I was saying, you cannot get it yourself into situations where you just have to constantly be aware of what's going on around you, where all the tanks are, all the enemy tanks, you know, who's taking the damage, and really coordinate yourself with other people. This is a team player tank if you play it solo. Actually, I guess even if you platoon, it's a team player tank. It's not a Rambo. You're not going to carry the team. It's not a tank that's like that. Your main priority with this tank is to get as much damage on the enemy as possible. It's an attrition game with this tank. The more damage, more hit points you can take away from the enemy, even if you don't get kills, the easier time it's going to be for your guys in the front to take out those tanks in advance. That's the whole point of this tank. It's definitely a support tank. So going right down the list, bad rate of fire, like I was saying. This thing reloads in about 16-something seconds. Less if you have the rammer. I think it's probably in the 15s then. Gun traverse, not horrible. Pretty average. View range, pretty, well, that's okay for tier 6. But we're going to talk about that view range a little bit later. Signal range, not very good. 440 is not very good. It's probably average, I guess, but it's really not that great. So you can't be super way back there because then you're not going to be able to see enemy tanks on your radar on the minimap. So we're done with stats. Let's go over modules, which there's really no upgrades here. We already talked about the radio. Tracks, 30 degrees per second. There's really not a lot to talk about because there are no upgrades. This is a premium tank. Let's talk about the gun, though. 196 pen on a tier 6 is ridiculous. You're pretty much going to be able to pen anything tier 6 and tier 7 without doubt, except, you know, stuff that's obvious, like the T29 turret. Don't shoot at the front of that. But you should be able to pen even tier 8s on the side, especially in weak spots, no problem. Lower plates, usually not an issue. For 440 damage. So like I said, this is going to be a big hitter. Even against tier 7s and tier 8s, you're going to hit them for a lot. You're going to see that in the videos I show you. I hit some tier 7s for tons, okay? And it freaks the hell out of them. So, again, it's a big troll tank. But if you're really trying to play it to be good at it, you gotta really be sneaky. It's almost like, I know this sounds kind of bad, but you know how guys... The way guys get into interactions with other guys is they're very aggressive, they're going to punch you, they're going to get physical on you, right? Well, if you're a woman and don't have the body mass as a guy that you don't like, let's say, or even another girl, they don't typically get into fist fights. They're not physically aggressive, but they're mentally aggressive. They figure out ways to throw a great jab at you with their mind. You know, they call you a name or a certain thing that's going to push your button or whatever. They're smart and they're sneaky because they don't have the physical prowess to just run out there, balls hanging out, roar, you know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing you got to do with this tank. You got to be smart, you got to watch where people are, and you got to take the shots that count when you know you're going to pen and you know you're going to hit. Wait for that reticle to come all the way down. Wait for the full aim time, okay? So you'll see that in the videos too. So that gun's ridiculous, and that's the whole point of this tank. That's the whole reason it's fun. So there's no reason to talk about research. Obviously, gold tanks don't have research. Well, most of them don't. This one does not. We're going to talk about equipment. I don't have any, but I'm running out of equipment. I've been buying a lot of gold tanks lately, and I don't have any. But what I would do, it's kind of obvious. The best thing you can do for this tank is to reduce the reload speed. That is the one thing you need to do with this tank that you can actually affect. You can't affect the armor. There's nothing you could do about it. You can't really affect the speed too much. You don't really need to anyway. It's got enough mobility to get the job done. You can't affect the camo because it's such a huge tank. The camo net's not going to help. So you need to get that reload speed as reduced as possible. So I go with vent, which I do on any tank. The rammer. Those two things are going to help your reload time immensely. And then I would go with binocs, because the reason I'm doing that here is this is a standoff tank. You need to be as far away from the enemy as possible to basically make their accuracy as poor as possible, and also so you can hide and get off their radar. The best way to do that is to be as far away as possible. Now, sometimes you'll be on a team where they're campers. The heavies are not moving ahead. They're not spotting. They just want to camp in the base like morons. So you have to get out there, and there's no way around it. I think I show you a game where I do that. Binocs can help that a lot because it adds 25% to your view range, okay? It's going to help you find people sitting in bushes that are fairly close. It's going to get you that view range you need. Coated optics could be a good idea because you do have to turn the tank a lot, and you lose your binoc bonus. Usually the way I use binocs is I'll get up into a new position when I'm moving forward, sit there until the binocs kick in, wait a few more seconds because that's how you spot people. You don't spot them immediately. See if you can spot anybody, then I start moving again. So they're kind of situational. Camo net's not going to help you. It's too big of a tank, and the bonus is not going to help really at all. I think they add a flat amount of camo now anyway. Again, it's not going to help at all. The smaller tanks are the ones that are going to benefit. Now, TDs, I get a bonus, I think, with camo nets. I think that's coming in 8.7. It's still not going to help. This tank is just too damn big. A gun laying drive could help on this tank because you remember, you want to get that shot off and stay exposed the least amount of time as possible. So with the 2.9 aim time, which is fairly bad, you can get that aim time down with the laying drive. I personally would put the binocs on because that allows me to be more tactical with what I want to do. I don't have to get in people's faces much, but you might want to use the aim time if you're playing more aggressive. It's just kind of be one of those things you can check out for yourself. I usually like to have a set of binocs hanging around. I don't right now. I think a tank's using it that I really like it on, probably my Firin or something. But it's also one of those ones where you can try it out, and if you don't like it, you can take it off with no gold. It doesn't cost you any gold to take it off. The laying drive will. It costs 10 gold to remove it. So once you put it on, usually it's permanent for that tank. I don't like to swap them around a lot. Anyway, that's equipment. Pretty much standard for rounds here. 27 AP, just a few HE. 3 is fine in this tank. And same thing for these consumables. On tiers 5 and 6, I get a repair kit. I don't bother with the other ones because it's just going to waste too much money, especially with this tank. Unless you have a pretty good game, you actually, if you connect with 3 hits, you're going to make money, and for full damage. Oddly enough, that it's a lot harder than it sounds because this thing faces tier 6s and below sometimes, and so they don't have a lot of hit points. So you're usually not going to get your full damage unless you're shooting in a tank that's never been hit before, and so again, that even makes it harder to make money with this tank. So I don't really think you should. A track is great because I use it for the ammo rack. If you get ammo racked in this thing and you got damage on your ammo rack, your reload's going to be like probably 20-something seconds. That's way too long. So you definitely need a repair kit to fix that. So that's pretty much this tank. The crew, I have the crew for my SU-100, which is the my Russian TD line right now. I'll be upgrading these guys to the next TD pretty soon, but I can always throw these guys in and train them, and I do this on every gold tank. The only time you'll see a guy that actually goes with this tank is because I can't find another guy from my regular line that fits in there. So I also swapped that out with the 44. That's why this guy has no crew, because I take this crew out and put it in this other tank when I want to play it. So these share a crew. Anyway, that's pretty much this whole tank. Let's get into a couple battles. You really need to watch these battles because I played this tank pretty much all weekend this weekend to make sure that I knew how to play this tank and get you the replays that I knew that I needed to show you. So these are actually the only 2 games that I had that I really felt were good in this tank out of probably, well, at least 10 games this weekend while I was figuring this tank out. The other games weren't bad, but these games were actually where I felt like, okay, I did a good job in this tank. I know how to use it. I really helped my team out. I know what this tank needs now. So let's get to the games. Alright, so here's a good game I had with this tank. And this is actually a really nice map for this tank. What you really want with this tank are long lanes like this, where there's not a lot of opportunities for enemies to flank you. And that is because you need to use the full length of the lane in some cases. So I usually try to follow a couple of heavies. I do try to support the weakest lane. I'd usually do that in most of my tanks, especially in tanks like this where your primary job is to put out as much damage as possible. Some tanks, you know, their job is mainly spotting or flanking and getting, you know, some choice hits on guys that are maybe low on health, take them out of the game, stuff like that. More tactical. This tank really is just damage pump. That's all you need to do. Pump the damage out, you know, soften guys up, jack them up hardcore when they're making stupid mistakes, and then troll them all day. It's fun, actually, when you hit somebody to laugh at them in chat. They kind of freak out. They're like, whatever, gold tank, gold noob, or something like that. Also, people are asking you questions, how's the 100Y, blah, 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 because they've seen this troll tank. So, right here, the heavies hung out at that freaking corner. I don't know if it's because they don't know this map or what. I decided to push up at least into the initial position on this lane to hopefully get them to move up. They've probably got to figure if a freaking 100Y is moving up, that we should probably move up. I mean, it's freaking IS and a KV-1S, come on. So, now we got a scout popping up on the map. Luckily, shoots me in an improper part of the track, gets no damage. Boom! You're dead. Trolled. Now, I wish I would have got the first hit on that guy because... Okay, so, ammo rack right there, gets hit. If you get your track jacked up, sometimes it's almost better to just not use it. I actually don't get my ammo rack hit very often in this tank. Usually if I have anything damaged, it's the gun, which again, you probably want to repair your gun as well if it gets damaged, because shooting this far away with that poor of an accuracy, well, it's not poor, but it's not that great. You need all the accuracy you can get on your tank, I mean on your gun. At every opportunity you think you might have a shot, line up to try to take it. Do not advance if you think you have a shot in a further back position. So you can see I'm doing that here with the Tiger. Also, have a lot of patience. Don't just move right away. There you go, see? I just got 450 damage on that Tiger because I was patient. I figured I'm just going to wait. Maybe he'll move. Again, now I've got him dead in the sights. He might be aiming for me right here, but he is really getting hurt. Every one of my shots is 30% of his life. Oh, trolled by the freaking line that shows you even when the tank is being hidden. So now I know I can't go back past that spot. This is kind of an unusual part of the game right here where I can just take shots at guys and I'm not worried about getting hit. Again, make sure you're dead center when you take that shot. It's got to connect. I'm also watching the minimap right here because there's a couple people. If they start moving up, I'm definitely switching to different targets. Okay? They're not moving up, so I'm just going to sit here and keep shooting these guys. If I can kill that Tiger, that'd be awesome. Now, I wouldn't take that shot because I don't know if I'll get damage with the shot. I have to get damage every time I shoot this gun. For one thing, the reload is way too long to be screwing around. Secondly, it's $1,000 a shell. You know, I don't want to waste money. 1,000 credits per shell. So this 3001 is is coming up here. So I need to get in control position. Boom! Now the suck part of that is only got 51 damage. So definitely lost money on that shot. But I trolled in his face, and now he's dead. So, 3601, probably the next threat I need to worry about. When you have a threat, even if there's a big, juicy heavy, if you have a threat to someone killing you, that is your primary target. I don't care how small they are, or, I mean, I guess that's any tank, but in this tank, everybody that's close to you is a threat. Your armor is so poor, every enemy that's close to you is a fatally threatening tank. You need to take care of them and get them out of the picture, okay, before you start shooting at the juicy targets again. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to be patient, and if he tries to pop around, he's going to wish he didn't, because I'm going to definitely jack him up. As you can see here, I've got this house protecting my side. You always want to have something protecting. Always think about where can I be the most protected while I'm waiting to dirt someone in the face. Now, these guys are moving up. Remember, don't move up before them, because then you'll be the primary and you're going to die fast. I'm going to keep watching the minimap to see if that 3601 comes up, because with my traverse, I can pretty much guarantee I can get up there. I can turn fast enough to get him. The Tiger, I thought he dropped down in the valley. I was going to go after him, but I don't see him now. Jumbo, I could get through this guy's armor, no problem. Oh, and the dirt derps me, trolls me right there. It happens. This is why this is not a money-making tank. I actually made more money in a V39 game a little bit after this. I made 30,000 credits in like both of these games pretty much. So I see the 3601. I don't have to worry about him coming behind me now. Gonna move up to try to go flank. Now I'm not gonna flank to the north like I usually would. I think about it here for a sec, but we've got nobody flanking in the, well, okay, if that guy was gonna go down that lane, I was gonna meet him right there and jack him up. Again, you have to try to predict where the enemy's gonna be. Do not let them surprise you. If you get surprised in this tank, it's over. So now I'm thinking, okay, we got Proto up there. I know the Tiger's up there. Nobody's flanking around the back. That low is being a problem. I clicked the map saying, hey, that low is going to be an issue. We've pretty much got the north handled. That's enough tanks to kill off anybody that's up there. The Proto will bounce a lot of shots, though. You got to get behind him, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do right here. If I can get behind that guy, I can basically help those guys out tremendously. Because then they well, they just killed him, but all they have to do is sit there and wait. Now, here's that Tiger. Here he is, giving me his armor. He doesn't even know. Oh, here, I think he sees me. Unupgraded Tiger. Boom! You're dead. So, finally got to kill that Tiger, which is nice. The game is pretty much over at this point. WZ-131 putting up a good fight there. Getting lots of kills. 4 kills now for him. Really, his team was just kind of bad. Nobody really gave a hard push on the 9-0 line, and so they got stomped. You can't let the guys in the south push all the way up to the front like we did. You're just gonna they're gonna kill half your team. You got to put heavy metal on the 9-0 line. You have to put at least one big heavy there. You know, you got to push a little bit. You got to be a little bit aggressive. You can't just camp all the time. Anyway, that's a good game. Let's get another one. Here's another game I recently had. Again, these are fresh off the press. I really did not have any games prepared for any strategies, and that's why you didn't see one last week. So I've been playing this tank, the TOG a little bit, the 44 as well a little bit, the SU-122 44, and then my T-110 a tiny bit. Yog Ponter, I'm also playing that a lot. It's the ×3 weekend, trying to unlock the Yog 2. Really want to get a mastery in that tank. So see that tree just fell? Hold on, let's stop. A tree over there just fell. If you didn't see it, rewind the video a little bit. You have to pay attention to that if you're driving this tank. You have to pay attention to the minimap and everything around you at all times, okay? I know there's going to be a guy there. There he is, M5 Stewart. So I'm preparing for a derp shot here in the face. And I didn't take it because I wasn't sure it would hit. So I'll wait a little bit. There we go. Boom! Yeah, baby. So their scout is dead. He was way too aggressive anyway. Probably thought nobody's ever going to go here. Well, on this map, which I've been getting almost every other game this weekend, for some reason, I think this is Pearl River. No, Sacred Valley. I like this map, especially on encounter mode. It's got a lot of different lanes and things you can do. I generally like to hug around this mountain. You can really dirt people in the face a lot. You can shoot guys on the flank right here. You're seeing me I'm set up basically for where I think they're going to advance. Also, if you can catch people on this side as well. Right here, I'm going to push X to lock the gun in place so it will not turn the tank. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to put my cursor, I've stopped the video obviously, I'm trying to put my cursor on the guy to put the silhouette up. If I can get the silhouette on him, I can probably get a shot on him, and then I'll turn the whole tank. If not, I'm going to sit here and wait because I'm really primarily focused on shooting these guys. So I don't want to turn my whole tank if I don't have a shot. So that's kind of what I was doing right here. So let's get the video or the replay going again. Now, obviously, I'm not really going to be spotting anybody. This would be a great spot to have binocs. I would love to have binocs right here because, especially since there are probably people up in those trees and bushes, binocs would help me spot them a lot. So, a 3-4, kind of a scout tank coming up. Getting into the cap right here. I don't know why it's not registered. Okay, there it goes. I probably have a derp shot on this guy. There's some cover in the cap on this map. And he's dead before I get a chance. Now, what's really unfortunate about that is I just exposed myself to everybody. If there's anybody in that tree line, they just saw me. They know where I am. That sucks for me. Surprise is everything in this tank, okay? Now, I don't know if there's anyone in that tree line. I actually can't remember, even though I just played this game. I've been playing a lot of games today. But I'm pretty sure there is. I know there usually is. So as you can see, Either I'm helping spot or there's a couple guys down here. This is good positioning, okay? These guys not camping. Camping from here back, not camping. You're not going to spot anybody where this M6 is, okay? I've seen it happen. We had an M6 here. The whole team just was shooting this guy out down to hell because he couldn't spot anybody. We couldn't get any shots. Really pissed me off. Pisses me off when your high-tier heavies are behind the lines like that. So, and I should have locked the tank. I'm seeing, oh, I see the AT-8 on the mini-map. He's shooting at the flanks of my guys with that machine gun. I actually like the AT series, but watch this. This cupola is actually kind of hard to hit, but not with this gun. Boom! Yeah, baby! 57%! He's still ignoring me, which is stupid. I'm reloading right in front of him. He shoots in the ground, it's just pissed his pants. I'm following him. He's going to give me a cupola again. There he goes. These guys think their armor is just... Boom! They think their armor is going to save them every time. If you're facing a gun that has 200 pen and you're in one of those ATs, and they're that close, they're going to hit you in the cupola. It's a guaranteed fact. The North is having a lot harder time, so I'm going to come up here and derp some of these guys. Boom! Again. Only 53 damage. Doesn't matter. I have 3 kills. You're going to get a lot of kill shots in this tank. It's going to frustrate you, though, that you have that big 400-something damage gun, and it doesn't seem to matter a lot in certain situations. Because, as you've already seen in these games, a lot of the shots are 200 damage or less, which means you really want more reload. So right here, we got a 3485 coming up. I'm going to let him go first, again, because if you can help it, you don't want to be in front. Now, he is low health, but I'm figuring he might be able to help spot a little bit better, and he can actually spot someone and actually get behind cover again pretty quick without getting shot. I don't really have that luxury. I'm at full health, but that can easily change. So here we go. He does not see the 35, or he does. I'm not really sure. And boom. 35 is a great tank. While he's lit, I'm going to troll him, though, and he dies before I get a shot. That happens a lot. The tank has good mobility, but remember, you have to get up there to get the shot and wait for the aim time and all that stuff. I'm going to try to help these guys out, kill the M6. Apparently, they're having a problem with this. No shots. It's really hard to get shots up into the north right here. I'm kind of worried about the other M6 that I know is hiding out in the city, which is really stupid. Again, their M6 in the city not being aggressive enough. This M6 in the north, really good M6. He's being very aggressive. You can see he just drove down a cliff to chase this 3601 down and get the kill. This is going to change the battle for them. It very well could change the battle. So now he's dead. That was a good move by that guy. Guy in the city, not really doing so hot. So this guy's coming into the city. Now this could be a pincer issue for me. I got to really pay attention to where both of those M6s are. I got one on my right and one on my left, I think. I got to stay up, though. I got to spot. I have to... There he is. Now, I'm going to balls it up and go for the kill here. There we go. I got... Oh! The gun trolls me. Right now, it was actually cussing. I was like, I can't believe it, you big piece of crap. And he dies. Good. But look how weak that is. I think I only got hit once. Yeah, I hit one time. At a third of my health. Now, I'm thinking, okay, come on, guys. Get in the cap. What do you... See that M6? Camping. Camping, camping, camping. Why is he doing that? I don't know. So right here, I'm going to get really aggressive. This actually, I think, could have been a better game. I got 1,000 damage. That's decent. Once I get to 1,000, I feel like I've had a decent game. Now, I'm just going to rush in there. Somebody's got a spot. The M6 is dead now because he's an idiot. This is pretty much a game over. I should have stopped and shot the PZ4, but I wanted to light this guy up so we can get some hits on him. Where the hell is he? At this point, you have to get into cap. Don't just let him cap. So that's the game. But anyway, that's really how you drive this tank. In fact, I actually had a better replay than this. I think I picked the wrong one. But still, you saw exactly how to play this tank. Let me know what you think about this tank. It's definitely just a fun little tank. It's definitely not a moneymaker. And I'll see you guys next week, hopefully, for the SU-122-44. It's really what I'm going to be gunning for. So let me know what you think about this tank. Really what you want to do. The main thing I can tell you is to platoon up. If If you watched this far, if you liked all the sounds you heard with the songs and stuff from 1940s, that's part of Blackshot's mod pack. You can find a link to that in my video description. It's a pretty awesome mod pack. He updates it really well. Just right away after a new patch comes out, he's really on the ball. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time.